Hey everyone, welcome to our Deus Ex Go presentation. My name is Nick, I'm your community manager, and I'm joined today by Geneviève Saint-Onge,
Hello.
our brand manager, and Etienne, lead designer on the project.
Hi, everybody.
So yeah, for those who don't know us yet, we're Square Enix Montreal. We're a small mobile studio based in Montreal. We focus on doing high-end mobile products. So far, we've done Hitman Go, Lara Croft Go, and Hitman Sniper as well.
Yeah.
And this XO is actually our fourth game. So obviously, this XO has been informed by its predecessors, which makes sense. And everyone asks us as well, like, where did the Go concept started? How did we come up with the idea of a Hitman game, but as a board game?
Yeah, so it's funny because we tell this story a lot. One, because it really defines who we are as a studio and how kind of weird it is as well. So initially, the studio at Square was not meant to do mobile games, but it was doing AAA games, and the team had been working on the Hitman franchise for a while. And so because everybody was so well versed into the Hitman universe, and we made the switch to mobile, we decided to go into this kind of first stab at the Hitman mobile universe. And so we took down the concept of Hitman and broke it down into multiple tiny parts. And teams were pitching differently about Hitman Go, about Hitman concept games on mobile. And that's kind of how Hitman Go was born. The idea behind a Go game, really quickly, is taking everything out of a great Square Enix franchise so
Yeah.
far, and just retaining the most core and pure elements from it. And so when you think about Hitman Go, it's a turn-based puzzle game with a really nice board game aesthetic. And it really became our signature game. But for the fans of the Hitman franchise, they will find everything that they like about the Hitman game. And it's funny because when we first announced, the reception was very weird in a way.
Yeah.
We use this slide a lot in our PowerPoint slides in our studio presentations because we have day one announcement posts on NeoGAF that were like,
Yeah.
what is this thing?
But people are skeptical, and even on mobile, it's like I feel like we have to even like work even harder to convince people that
Exactly.
we're legit. We understand the franchise, and we're doing like
Yeah.
good by it.
And because we're so tiny, we didn't really have any legacy available at the studio.
Yeah.
We were super, super careful about the initial announcements. But when people started playing, they were like, oh, this really makes sense. And so we released then a couple months later the game also on Vita, which was amazing. And
Yeah.
then Steam, PS4, and recently VR on
And
the
even
Rift.
on VR.
Yeah, it's a super weird but funny experience.
Yeah, I feel like we can revisit the game every time we take a
Exactly.
shot at it, and VR is super interesting because
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
actually
yeah.
see the dioramas in very different angles, and they actually feel like toys.
Exactly.
And so yeah, it's super interesting. But yeah, even when we wrapped up Hitman Go, we released new levels with different mechanics, but it felt like we created some kind of a genre with the Go games, and it felt like there was still a lot of stuff we could do with the same concept of like distilling a franchise and turn-based gameplay and everything. And so came Lara Croft Go.
And we were very lucky because the game was so successful, right?
Yeah.
That we were offered to do another Go game, and we got to choose a franchise we wanted to work with. So Lara Croft Go for us was the immediate answer to that because the entire studio, most of it, I would say, like a big majority, grew up playing the classic Tomb Raider
Yeah.
games, and that's exactly what we went for the art direction, the vibe, and the overall experience of Lara Croft Go.
Yeah.
But it kept the same concept of taking everything that made Lara Croft and classic Tomb Raider games great and boiling everything down to its core to make this tiny, not accessible, but like tiny, unique experience for mobile. And again, lots of praise. I'm going to do the thing we talked about where
Yeah.
I just flew back from San Francisco this morning because we won this thing.
Yeah,
Yesterday?
which is pretty cool.
It's an Apple Design Award, and it's super heavy. And the customs agents were like, "Whoa, what are you doing with that cube?" But we just got it yesterday, and we were really excited. And
Yeah,
Apple
yeah.
obviously really enjoyed the game, and I think it's just a fun thing because we're such a small studio, and Square at large is allowing us to do those really cool concept games.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it clearly felt like even like a step up. Everyone has their favorite,
Yeah.
but it felt like we were incensed by the critics and everything. And with Deus Ex, it was super interesting to see where it's gonna land and how people are gonna
Exactly. Because that's what
see
we're
it.
here to talk about.
That's actually what we're here to talk
10
about.
minutes in, we're going to talk about Deus Ex Go.
Yeah, so last week we officially announced the game with our friends at IDOS, which was very interesting.
It was my big face on camera.
Yeah, it's as well.
Mine
Etienne.
too, yes.
And so yeah, we announced it together at the Deus Ex pre E3 showcase, which went very well.
Yeah.
I've been talking to people. They come up to us and like tell us how much they enjoyed the show. So let's actually take a look at the reveal trailer for Deus Ex Go before we go forward.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a pretty short reveal trailer as well, just to tease
It's
people.
always a tease, just a tease.
There are a few mechanics we saw in there, but we're gonna a bit later. We're gonna run through the demo. So Etienne, can you maybe tell us like we talked about Lara Croft Go, how it was like a passion
Yeah.
project. We chose the franchise, but how was that process for Deus Ex Go? Like how was the franchise chosen basically?
Yeah, well, we look at the franchise when we create these Go games. It's basically what can we bring from a franchise to transform it into a puzzle game and to a turn-based puzzle game even. And so by looking at Deus Ex, we kind of found a lot of things that made a lot of sense for
Yeah,
us. The mechanics of Deus Ex are really easily imaginable into
Yeah.
nice mechanics. You can cloak, you can hack, you can take down. Jensen does all of those things. So for us, it was a no-brainer. And on top of that, the universe, the Deus Ex universe, is really enabled us to go in a direction where the other Go games didn't go before. And that's really important because we don't want to make the same game again and again. Even from Hitman Go to Lara Croft Go, there was like huge changes
Yeah.
to even how the game felt. And the same way with Deus Ex Go, we want to have a game that feels like Deus Ex first, but that draws from all the pedigree of a Go game.
Yeah, we never want them to feel like sequels or they have to be their own game and standalone.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, maybe we can run through the actual demo we have. We've actually captured some footage from what's on the show floor. We've edited it a bit so to make sure like we go through all the mechanics and everything. So yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
run us through the demo.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's
do
launch
it.
it.
Roll the
Let's roll the clip.
Made with Unity.
Made in Unity, of course. Absolutely. So,
Oh, as a first notice, of course, this is an alpha build.
Yeah.
So we're still in development. The funny thing about the art direction, again, you're going to mention it. I'm going to let you talk.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah. So like you can see, it looks different from Mankind Divided. Of course, it's a mobile game. We want to make it as gorgeous as possible on mobile, and that means not doing the same thing Mankind does because it's way too detailed. But you can see here, like Jensen is navigating. He got seen by a guard and he couldn't take him down because of the shield. He has to go around, and when the guy is not actually alerted, he can be taken down by Jensen, enabling him to reach the end of
take
the
him
level.
down.
Yeah.
And that's super interesting because from Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go, we've seen like some of the guards came back and were reskinned like through animals.
Yeah.
And this time, like even the first enemy you encounter, the guard, actually functions like very differently. There's this concept of like line of sight, and he's always gonna change like
Yeah.
the last place where he saw you.
Yeah. So there's one thing about Deus Ex Go is like, and the others too, is like drawing from the franchise. So there's that huge concept of line of sight and cloaking and being chased around the level by a guard who saw you. In this case, Jensen is gonna break line of sight by cloaking, actually, so the guard won't even see you ever. And it's something basically that we really draw on when we create these game mechanics.
Yeah, and it's super interesting at this point. Like you could have chosen to take the guard down or just walk through it. So
Yeah. Well, this is something that Jensen is going to have to do there because the guard is right in front of the exit. Using the cloak energy augment, he's going to be able to take the guard down before he even sees him. But yeah, like you said, it's like drawing from what Deus Ex is and creating new mechanics out of it. There's the cloaking. We're going to see the hacking very shortly.
Yep.
These are all iconic things that Jensen does that we kind of use to create cool puzzles.
Yeah.
I would like to give a shout out to the Hitman people who are jealous that we are no longer talking about Hitman Go. Hi, Travis. They've been trying to distract us for the past 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
Back
totally
to the
not
demo,
working.
guys.
Yeah, well, Jensen is currently doing what he does, so he had to go behind the guard to get the augment, and he's gonna do a little bit more of the cloaking thing to
Yeah.
exit the level.
And we've talked about like taking like the essence of the Deus Ex franchise, but like Deus Ex Go is way more about looking at your environment and trying to manipulate it. Like you're kind of playing with guards by having them chase you around, and sometimes you want them in very specific places, and so you're gonna lure them.
Yeah, it's one of the important things is even in Deus Ex when you play the full game like Mankind Divided or even Human Revolution, like you look at a whole hangar with guards in it, and you kind of have to figure out exactly how you're going to go through it. And this is something we really wanted to capture. How do I use everything that's in this level? Sometimes against each other, you can pit guards against each other. You can use turrets to kill guards. All of that.
Exactly. So we're seeing the turret now for the first time in the demo. We've seen it very simply used, where you simply have to have an object in front of you. And in the case that we saw, it was the guard. So it didn't see. Now what we're seeing is the hacking mechanic.
Yeah, with the hacking in this Let's Go, we kind of create this puzzle into a puzzle mechanic where you have to draw lines from a hacking terminal to different objects in the scene. There's right here is the turret, but down the line there's more of them. But any terminal can only hack one thing at each moment, so Jensen has to take different decisions as to when to hack what. And in this case, Jensen has to hack the second turret because it can see him for longer than the first one. So by cloaking in front of the first turret, you basically bypass the level. There's different things to hack. In the next level, we're gonna see what we call the power nodes. There are nodes that you can't access when you can't access them normally. You have to hack them first, and that creates kind of mazes where Jensen has to hack. Like each station can only hack one thing, so he has to create these situations where he can reach the end.
Yeah, and next few levels we're gonna see like all these mechanics coming together, actually creating like a sense of complexity, which is super interesting. Like what's fun about Deus Ex Go is when you get into layer levels and you see all these mechanics you've seen before, but interacting with each other and differently with the hacking and everything.
And now more than ever, right?
Yeah.
Because with the hacking, it's always more about manipulating the environment, whereas before Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go were more about fighting against objects or animals or like pawns.
Yeah, it's one of the things like when we create Deus Ex Go, we kind of use what we know and love from the other Go games, but there's also this element that comes from Deus Ex, which is sometimes you just want to manipulate these things against each other, and it's something new. There was a beginning of that in Lara Croft Go with the traps. Sometimes you use the traps to kill different enemies, but it was very different. In this case, Jensen is actually reaching into the level and changing how it works in order to finish a level.
Yeah. Another mechanic that's interesting, again, we're adding the guard to the hacking, is that a guard can actually de-hack basically your terminal, so we're going to see it right now.
Yeah, when a guard sees something that Jensen did, he wants to undo it. In this case, since the guard saw you and reached a hacking terminal, he basically undoes what you did. In this case, Jensen has to hack in order to be able to reach the exit, because otherwise the guard would basically kill Jensen by deactivating the node he's standing on.
Yeah, trapping him into the platform node.
Absolutely.
So I think we have a few levels. Oh, just this last level.
Yeah, this is one nice one. Like you said, like we want to create complexity that is more than the sum of all the mechanics.
Yeah.
And this is a level where you see that because you have to hack different things at different moments. You have to use the cloaking, but there's this mechanic where you realize that hacking things isn't for free. Sometimes you're gonna hack different items and you can't draw over another line. So in order to finish this level, you have to actually draw lines in the floor in a way that will permit you to hack different things at the same moment.
And it's the only level we're showing that showcases this, but you can expect way more in the future. So you're seeing here right now, I'm trying to draw over the other line and it's not letting me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to the other one and make sure the paths don't cross the streams. They say.
Yeah, you never cross the streams.
So yeah, I'm gonna hack this one, and then I'm gonna forget to cloak.
Yeah, like
and,
a pro.
Like a pro. Oh,
Yep.
That's one way to end it. Yeah, so that's basically it. So what else can we expect, like in terms of new mechanics? Like we saw a bunch.
Yeah. Well, we had to nod at the other Go games. We're gonna bring back the classic enemies differently. Of course, there's gonna be robots in the game, but we also want to make them interesting with the other mechanics that we have. So we have scrambler robots that you can't hack under. So when the walker robot walks around your level and unhacking anything you do every turn, it's going to be a pain in the ass. You have to go back and take care of them or use them against, like you can actually go to a place and hack in a certain way that like 2 turns later, the walker is going to undo what you did and it's going to rotate a node or unhack a turret. And that's all things that the player can use against.
I think we have a concept art actually that shows the different mechanics as well as the walker. Yeah, exactly that. And what about the art style? Like everyone remembers the Hitman Go dioramas. They're very iconic and made sure to like instill the Go-ifying of franchises very strongly in people's minds. Lara Croft Go was as well like very much praised for its art direction. So how are you doing this still minimalistic, stylized, abstract version of it in Deus Ex Go?
Well, we had to go with what Deus Ex inspired us artistically. Like I said, we couldn't just redo, and we didn't want to redo what Mankind Divided does. So it was all about abstracting that really high-tech sci-fi feel from Deus Ex into a really interesting, even AR sometimes kind of interpretation of the universe.
Yeah. And one thing about the Go games as well is that when we talk with fans and everything, we always release like content afterwards, even though it takes us a while to produce.
I mean, we're such a small team.
We're a
right?
small team.
It's funny because when we release a game 4, 6, 8 hours later, people are like, "I burned through it, guys. Give me more content." And we're like, "No, we just spent months, like a team of 6 people making levels."
We had a very hard update for Lara Croft Go, like answering basically.
We made it difficult.
Yeah, and we answered fan
asked
requests.
for it.
Like people said, like the base game was fun but not difficult enough.
Yeah.
So we decided like. So you want a difficult game? Well, we're gonna bring it, and we did, but people still finished it very quickly. And so the art style was thought.
Well, it's an art style that we went for many reasons, but one of the big reasons that we really liked is that basically it comes from procedural, like iterative art that can build itself, basically. And that was one of the core pillars that we wanted to hit because, like you said, creating content for the other games was time costly and took a long time. So we basically, in this Exo, there's the infrastructure where we can release content at any time. And we don't need an update for people to get new levels. There's a live page in there where you can go back regularly to have new levels that we're going to release over time. And basically, this is all possible due to that abstract art style that can basically generate itself around any level.
Yeah, and definitely one of the key turn points in the Go series at this time, as we announced last week, is now more than ever, people are going to be able to create content. And we kind of, the story behind that is we took our own level editing tools and really transformed that into something that was easier to manage. So you don't have to go into Unity and then build a scene. And they're like, it's really drag and drop and really intuitive. And so that's going to come a little bit after launch, but it's really solving 2 major issues that not issues, but challenges that we had, that the people were finishing the game super fast. And then for us, it will allow us to provide you with pretty much endless content.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Bears.
Yeah, and
really
then-
just dynamic updates, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and down the line, people are going to be able to challenge their friends with their levels, which
Yeah,
is
which is
something
cool.
really
Oh yeah,
cool.
I want to
Uh,
see people teaming up and ganging up against each other. Like my level is so hard, you're never going to be able to do it. And at the office, we're already seeing it.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
just sending that level to, I think it was Alex or
Yeah, we had a weird afternoon with basically no work.
weird afternoons.
No, we had a weird afternoon when basically no work got done because we were kind of challenging each other on the solution of a puzzle that we thought we had found the best solution, and
Yeah.
I would send that back to a programmer, Mathieu, that
Oh, yeah.
he would then try to find out how I did so few moves to solve the
Yeah,
level,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he would beat that, and I couldn't believe it, so I had to go back to that and solve it. We kind of
Sometimes
Uh,
we have very unproductive days. I
But
hope Patrick
they
is
are
not
needed.
watching.
They are needed.
they are needed actually. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very cool. I remember Antoine, one of our coworkers, showing me like the level design tools in Larcraft Go, and I was telling him like I'm not much of a game developer. I've dabbled in Unity before, but how intuitive it already was at that point for that game for our level designers actually to create new content.
Yeah.
And it just step by step. Like I remember they did some stuff for Hitman Go, but every game like it was easier and easier to create levels.
Yeah.
And for
And-
Deus Ex Go, it just made sense.
Yeah,
to-
it was basically taking that and bringing it to the next level so that even anybody who never made a level before could look at the iPad, look at the iPhone, and then start like placing
yeah.
things,
Yeah.
drawing lines, and playing with the game that they already know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, how was actually like the collaboration with IDOS? We have our friends from IO and from
IO is,
Crystal.
they're standing across the glass, just making moves, trying to get our
Uh,
attention.
So we've had fun with other
Yeah.
studios before, but
Yeah.
how was it working with IDOS?
We're in this very lucky position where we get to work with massive Square Enix franchises. We've started with Hitman, hi Travis, wink, and then followed with Arkoff, Tomb Raider. And every single time working with those guys has been absolutely amazing. IO actually helped us found the studio in the first few years of Square Enix Montreal. We had 3 Danes, very friendly people, help us set the studio up. And then with Crystal, it was just another set of really fun interactions and getting access to a franchise that everybody grew up playing was just crazy. And a big shout out to Megan, who has been amazing providing us with references for the classic Tomb Raider feel we wanted to go for Larcraft Go. And then the ADOS people that we're now working with, who are 3 blocks away from us, we just go there all the time. We're like, hi guys, we have this really weird thing
And
we
they
want
do
to
come
show
to our
you."
studio.
Yeah,
too.
They do
come
come
too.
to the studio.
Yeah, it was key for us basically to be able to check in with them.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
create this game independently, but we really want to collaborate as much as possible so to make sure that we nail the
Yeah.
feeling, we nail the like how Deus Ex feels
Yeah.
for them,
Yeah.
how like they were really stoked about us making a
Oh,
Go
yeah,
game
Jeff-
about GF was like
Ziegler.
he was asking it for years, and then when we announced it, he was super happy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been bugging us for
Yeah.
months before we
Yeah,
even
yeah.
launched Larcraft Go. He's like, guys, when are you going to make Deus Ex Go for us? And we're
So,
like,
yeah.
later, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've had
And-
JJB work with us on
Yeah, yeah,
art.
yeah.
We've had
Mary work on
with
story
us on
stuff, and
narrative.
then- yeah.
So that's been super interesting. So before we wrap up, anything you guys wanted to add before we close up?
Oh, we have actually 8 playables on the show floor
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first time. Usually we've been very secretive about our games at E3, but now the build is awesome and it's playable, and we essentially the stuff we've showed today is accessible on the show floor.
And
And
even more.
And there's
Yeah.
more than that even.
There's
Yeah,
more
that's
we
than
true.
kind of breezed through.
yeah, and if you see us, come say hi. We
Come
love
say
meeting
hi.
you guys, and I know most of you are watching from Twitch, but
And yeah.
come to LA, I guess.
And
maybe.
if you want to follow all the news about Deus Ex Go,
Yeah.
you can follow both our Square Enix Montreal channels and the Deus Ex channels.
Yep, yep.
And finally, I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Geneviève. Thank you, Etienne. Thank you
Thank
to
you.
the team in Montreal that's probably watching us,
We did not mess up, guys.
which is pretty good. And thank you for the work.
Yeah.
The game is showing amazing. And again, thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
watching.
you.
It's been a pleasure.